IBU Youth and Junior World Championships Biathlon 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Youth Women 10 kilometers individual competition. Less than 10 minutes to go, less than 10 minutes to go. The last preparation and the entrance of all the volunteers, all the helpers at the shooting range. Wir sehen die Mitarbeiterinnen und Mitarbeiter, die jetzt einmarschieren am Schießplatz. Sie sind beispielgebend für die vielen hundert Helfer.
Hello and a very warm welcome today to the Youth Women's 10 kilometer individual competition here at the Youth and Junior World Championships in Arber, Germany. Different scenes today as the rain is beginning to fall, in stark contrast to yesterday's slightly more summery conditions, and also posing a very different challenge for the athletes out here who now have to contend with lots of moisture on the tracks, and perhaps even calling it rain is a bit of a stretch. It's something more like sleet. And in these conditions, one of the main challenges that athletes have to contend with is keeping warm, even in plus degrees. It's often so much harder, as you likely well know, when the clothes get wet, the gloves get wet, the fingers get wet, and the challenge is sometimes how many sets of gloves can you prepare and cycle through before your start in order to make sure you start with nice, dry, warm clothing. An impossibility for many. Hannah Jelena Brown getting her rifle checked. A formality, a necessity that everybody has to go through in order to ensure that their rifle is safe and ready. Rosie France of Australia now with bib number 8 in the start zone, preparing, no doubt, as we see these pre-recorded scenes unfold. "117 competitors across 39 national federations are going to be competing today. Zhang Yenko and Ida Spitlar of Slovenia. These conditions are becoming quite familiar for many athletes as the conditions are changing around Europe. And Katharina Stoller of Germany, she will not only be familiar with the conditions, but with the venue itself. Arber, of course, being in Germany and being not too far a drive from Ruhpolding, some would say the home of biathlon. But what makes Arber so special is how challenging this biathlon stadium is. The hills are long, steep, and continuous. The downhills are punctuated by many sharp turns that prevent the athletes from recovering. Hannah Vulstad of Norway will be one of the first athletes to get underway. And she's come off the back of some pretty successful Norwegian Cup races where she has claimed the victory in 3 out of 4 of those. And for those of you joining now, a very warm welcome to you to Arber for the Youth Women's 10 kilometer individual competition at this 2026 Youth and Junior World Championships. The athletes are now getting prepared, and we get an opportunity to take a look now at the course map. It starts out pretty flat, goes down way behind the range before the ascent begins. It's not as shaded in the woods as one might hope, as these plus degrees make that very slushy snow conditions A little bit less so than yesterday, in fact. The air temperature now at 2 degrees, but as you can see, the humidity, 88%. We don't need to look at the graph to see that. The rain and sleet is falling. And it's as much of a mission for the support staff to keep warm and dry as it is for the athletes. As we see Cadell of Great Britain getting prepared, an early starter and a diligent athlete who I've had the pleasure of coaching. And now for these final moments, the athletes are in the final stages of preparation of their warm-ups. Of course, many who start further back will still be out there skiing and running elsewhere. But Hannah Volstad, as you can see, bib number 1, she is one of the favorites today. Shooting is not her forte, shall we say, but she's an exceptional skier, and shooting is something that is learned over many years, whereas the skiing really is what makes people a formidable force, particularly in the sprint competitions. But Lydia Hag Everby of Sweden down there, wearing bib 19. And Juliette Oliva, I should say, of France, ranked 28th in the overall cup. And that's in part due to her participation. It's not always easy for these youngsters to get time out of school to be able to come and contend here, or indeed on the circuit where they can race on the Junior Cup against all of the other junior competitors who are able to fit it in around their schedule. Norway generally don't tend to send a great deal of athletes to the junior events. However, they view the Youth Junior World Championship slightly differently, and perhaps they would not send a 16-year-old, as we saw yesterday with Viards Losbergs of Latvia. He's claimed a victory, and Norway would not have even considered him for this event, despite the fact that he is capable of a win, and that is just part of their strategy for long-term development. Losbergs, of course, an Olympian, so we have some among the field who have been at the highest level of competition. Now we're looking down at the back end of the field. We have Mathilde Dodos of France, who has a very good shot of causing an upset later on in the race, as of course early on the competition will be largely dictated by the big names of Volstad of Norway and Stradkova and Hag Everby, Nicolucci of Germany. These big names who have already had significant success. And this is the coach, the scene of the coaches getting warm. Now they have a special duty up there. They're not out there for fun or even for mere support. They will receive information from the coaches at the shooting range as to where the rounds fell for their athletes. By rounds, I mean the bullets, and where they landed on the target. And that way, they can pass on that information to the athletes, who will then be able to adapt and alter their sights. So if they're having a somewhat bombastic shoot, they will need to get the sights readjusted so that next time they come in, they will not be having so much trouble. But, of course, easier said than done. Well, we're about to get underway as Hannah Volstad of Norway takes out bib number 1, the first starter for this championship event, the Youth 10 kilometer individual. Volstad, no stranger to success at the highest level. 3 wins under her belt out of 4 races on the Norwegian circuit. And now Koski following in her wake. The young Finn, 18 years of age. She gets started. She's competed at the European Championships, so not just up 1 age category, but in the senior. Of course, these are youths, and they can still compete for 2 years as juniors hereafter. But of course, they are still eligible to compete as seniors, as she did in Shushin for the European Championships. Hannah Yelena Brown. Now the third athlete to start with a strong technique, really driving back with the elbows and utilizing the core well, gliding over the somewhat compact snow. And as you can see, the rain has caused that snow to be a little bit heavier, meaning that the slushiness that we saw yesterday, the wading through the snow, is not going to be quite so formidable for these athletes today, as Boroka Tamas gets started. The wax technicians have a special duty today to find the right structure to put under the base of the ski, and a structure puts markings into the base of the ski, and those markings are what enables the water and the moisture to run in and out, or for the ski to glide seamlessly over those wet conditions without the suction effect causing the ski to almost stop. Now Selina Ganner of Austria, 17 years of age, and she gets started her last international event at the Open Junior European Championships in Imatra, Finland, where she finished 33rd in this event, of course racing at a longer distance, given the fact that she was competing then as a junior, not a youth as she is today. And now Skokic of Bosnia getting underway, opting to start in the early groups as a result of, well, as she will be hoping, the conditions being better earlier rather than later. Giovanni Nukalusi of Germany now. She'll be following out the Bosnian. And is no stranger to victory, claiming the victory in Hochfilzen for the regional event, and also claiming 2 victories here in Arber. And that was last year, one of which she shot the perfect 10 for 10. And now Rosie Fransk has big boots to follow with the German in front of her. But Fransk is now underway. And a reminder to those unfamiliar, this is a 10-kilometer, 5 laps competition. Therefore, they will shoot 4 times, prone, then stand, prone again, and finally 1 more visit in stand. Every single miss will incur a 45-second penalty, which will immediately be added onto their time at the moment that the miss is marked. Berg now getting underway, and she will be trying to avoid those misses, those 45-second most critical penalties. But as we can see, the wind flags in the distance, barely a movement at all, indicating that the shooting range is about as comfortable as it could be. Petrusova now of Czechia. She gets started, and she has also been competing at the European Championships and on the IBU Junior Cup, really making the most of the international competitions made available by the IBU Cup and by other facilitators that come under the IBU Cup umbrella with regional events. Seoul now on the start line. And she gets underway. No stranger to victory, this young lady, after having won the last 5 of her races in Lake Placid, twice, 2 times in Soldier Hollow, and in Jericho, 1 victory with a 2nd place there too. So she's come off the back of some good form against her teammates, and it will be interesting to see how that matches up to this international field. Müller now starting for Greenland. As we see out on the track, Selina Ganner has now come through the 1.1 kilometer checkpoint. And she does so 3.6 seconds down behind Hannah Wulstad, who's now in the shooting range preparing for her first prone, and indeed has already started. 1 miss so far, but 4 hits to follow. It's not a bad start for Hannah Wulstad. We saw a significant many finishing on the podium yesterday with lots of misses, not least among them Jakob Kolben, 5 mistakes and still managing to get up onto the podium. Fast skiing today really does make a huge difference given the resistance underfoot as Strakova is getting started for Slovakia. A strong technique, really getting the ski right under the center of mass. The transfer of weight being marked by the moment that the ski comes under the center of the body and travels with the ski, minimizing the lateral movement side to side. Now Giovanna Nicolussi of Germany, 17 seconds down on Wulstad's time. That's a massive margin in just 1/10 of this race. Now, is that the result of patient pacing? Of course, pacing is critical in a race like this to ensure that the legs don't blow up and the athletes can hold steady, as Brown now will attempt to do. She misses the first, just as Wulstad did. But the next 2 go down. And there's your second miss. 2 mistakes. Wulstad, one of only 2 who have left the shooting range as of this moment. This will be the 3rd. But Wulstad setting a pretty quick time, one that's going to be hard to touch. As Selina Ganner now of Austria, she gets in and settled. A lovely rhythm there between shots. First to get 5 for 5. 33.5 seconds in total, and the average time about 2.6 seconds between shots. And Selina Ganner is going to take the lead now out of chute number 1. A time that may even stand the test of time. That determined by the fact that she's skiing up there quickly with Wulstad of Norway. Like I said before, Wulstad having won 3 out of 4 of her races on the Norwegian Cup, coming 5th in the last one that she did. Nicolussi coming in for her first prone, her first 5 of 20 shots. She entered the range 24 seconds down. But if she gets these shots, she will find herself in ahead of Wulstad. She needs this. An excellent start for Nicolussi of Germany. 5 out of 5. The second to have done so. And now she heads out with a deficit behind Ganner of Austria, but nevertheless manages to get in ahead of Wulstad of Norway. And now we can see Wulstad on her second lap. Behind her we can see Cadell of Great Britain, hopefully pacing herself sensibly out here now. Strakova behind Volstad of Norway. That's where the camera has its attention. She's marked the second fastest ski time till this point, so she's on her first lap at the 1.1 kilometer mark. So skiing at a similar speed to Volstad, but perhaps encouraged to stay with Volstad's time because she's literally skiing behind her, just one lap between the two of them. That's great shooting from Berg of Denmark. 5 out of 5. It wasn't fast, but it was controlled. We've seen the likes of Johan Olof Botten almost starting something of a routine on the World Cup of shooting a little bit more composed, and even the likes of Oldal has cottoned onto that and has slowed down his shooting. Hitting the targets is a net benefit, even if time is lost in an individual race, to not taking risk. And Berg of Denmark exemplified that. Sol now of USA missing her first shot. And looking unsettled with the rifle, but nevertheless getting 4 of those targets down. That's great composure, great discipline. She glances up to the coaches, who are just to her right, our left as we see it. The coaches, of course, will have a scope and have the opportunity to look at the targets as they go down, and therefore being able to identify if the rounds are falling or grouping away from the center or off the target, passing that information on to the coaches around the track, who then in turn pass that information on to the athlete, allowing them an opportunity to adjust. Now, we cut to our leader, Selina Ganner of Austria. She is still in first place now at the 3.1 kilometer mark, but also after shoot number 1 with a 21-second lead over Nicolucci. And now Strakova, she's not going to touch that time of Ganner. Not with a miss. But now, the 6th fastest time, Stratkova manages to achieve that. But she has Kostenko of Ukraine just come into the shooting range, a little bit ahead of her. Or forgive me, sorry, behind her. Of course, Stratkova with the 2nd fastest time coming into the shooting range. But now Kostenko with the 5th fastest time of the 15 who have as yet come through into the range. Kostenko with the first 2 targets going down with apparent ease. And she gets 5 out of 5. An excellent start for the Ukrainian, who's now coming out with a little bit of energy. Those first 5 coming down serves as a bit of a relief for these athletes. Can't get any better, but it can certainly get worse. But now, the 2nd fastest time so far goes to Kostenko of Ukraine. And there's the stretching from the Latvian. As you can see, the coaches are serving as helpers in every manner of way. Now, Selina Ganner, one of the fastest skiers out there, still with the 3rd fastest time to the 1.1K. She hasn't missed yet today, and she's leading out of shoot number 1. And there's her first miss of the day. She makes it 2. 3 mistakes, 2 minutes 15 added on to her time. Now, you might think, well, that's a catastrophic moment for her race and really debilitating for her chances to get a podium, but we've seen it time and time again, athletes missing in these races and still managing to have top-level performances if they can recompose on the range And Ganner's fast enough on the skis to do just that. Lydia Hag Everby, now of Sweden. Starts with a miss and has the composure to readjust, shuffling the hips. Resettling, rebuilding the position. Hag Everby gets the 4 targets after that initial miss. And she must have identified that the problem for the first shot was not something to do with her zero being different, but actually just her feeling behind the rifle not being quite on track. And a simple readjusting of the body enabled her to regain control. It's composed. And it's 10 for 10. Halfway there, and half of the targets hit. Nicolucci looking strong. She has gone clean here before in a short individual, 20 out of 20. And she won on that occasion. Volstad now setting the fastest time, but she is also wearing bib number 1. Nevertheless, it's a tough time to beat. Volstad having come through chute number 2 off screen and having hit all of the targets. So at the end of chute number 2, Volstad is in the lead. Nicolucci is in second place, and Ganner with 3 mistakes is way down in third. So we can expect to see a significant number get in ahead of Ganner, at least for now. Let's see if Rosie France can be that athlete. But so far, with 2 mistakes in stand, it's going to be a challenge. And 3 mistakes. 2 minutes 15, that is added on. 45 seconds per mistake, which over the course of this 10-kilometer race amounts to a pretty significant penalty, really putting the focus and attention on the shooting. Now, Berg, without a single miss so far. 8 out of 8, 9 out of 9. And now she makes it 10 for 10. Nora Flyholm Berg of Denmark has gone clear for the first half of the race. Were this a sprint, that would be a 10 out of 10, a pretty remarkable achievement for most athletes. And a great performance from the athlete from Denmark. And now Berg is looking to set the 3rd fastest time so far coming out of chute number 2. And indeed she does. 1 minute 8 seconds back. As we see Hannah Volstad come in for her 2nd prone chute of the day. She's only missed 1 target so far. It's a great start. Excellent. 14 out of 15 for Hannah Volstad, and this really is an impressive performance. One that could amount to a victory if she keeps this momentum. Now, of course, she will set the fastest time now as the only one going through the checkpoint, but that time is 20 minutes and 12 seconds, a time that will prove extremely difficult to beat. And I suspect very few will come through this marker ahead of Volstad. The question is whether Volstad can hold her composure for the final visit to the range. Zaida Spitalar of Slovenia comes in for her first 5 shots. And she gets them 5 out of 5 in a time of 35.2 seconds. Johan Olof Botten typically shoots in about 32 seconds, to use an example from the Olympic champion. Vostenko now with her first miss, being the first of her 5 stand shots. That's 9 out of 10. A commendable shoot. Most athletes would take 18 out of 20 if offered it at the start of a race. And now we turn our attention back to Giovanna Nicolucci of Germany. She's not missed so far, and despite that fact, she's 27 seconds down. We know that Volstad is skiing the fastest out there. She marks the fastest time on lap 1, 2, and 3, whereas to find Nicolucci, you have to go down to 9th on lap 1, 5th on lap 2, and it remains to be seen how fast she goes on lap 3. But there is your standings coming out of shoot number 1 with Selina Ganner, who has gone on to miss 3 in stand. She's currently in the lead. And the graphics disappear so fast, but still, Vostenko of Ukraine, who's then gone on to miss 1, she's in second place at the end of shoot number 1. Nicolucci, as you could see, in second place at the halfway mark in this race, the 5.1K, is in third at the end of shoot number 1. No misses to her name. Ganner now on a mission to redeem after the 3 mistakes in stand. It was great. The first 3 shots went down with such control. The fourth clearly disappointing the Austrian, but nevertheless, a good shoot. 9 out of 10 in prone. That's 90% hit rate. Again, a statistic most biathletes would accept before the race started if offered. Hag Everby now going for 9 out of 10, and she gets it. And now, coming out of shoot number 2 is going to fall, likely outside of Berg's time, the Denmark athlete, but probably in ahead of Sol, or certainly in ahead of Sol. So Hag Everby now in 6th place, but only having missed 1 target. Berg, who's just in front of her, 7 seconds, who now we turn to at the 5.1K halfway mark, having conducted 2 shoots. And you can actually see the track is becoming a little bit more torn up. Giovanna Nicolucci. She's done it before, shot the perfect 20 out of 20 here in Arber on this range, on home snow or home slush. Can she do it again? Well, it is looking very promising. That is 15 out of 15 for Nicolucci, and she's done the 20 out of 20 before and only has 5 more rounds to go where she might be able to repeat that victory performance. She has got a time deficit of Volstad and will rely on the Norwegian having at least 1 miss. 46 seconds down. So losing about 1 minute 30 in terms of ski speed till this point in the race to the Norwegian. That's about 23 seconds on average per lap in terms of ski speed. With 2 more laps to go, that's about 40 to 50 seconds more time lost on skis. So even if Nicolucci shoots 20 out of 20, she's relying on Volstad missing at least 2. Volstad is skiing that fast. Now others who are skiing very fast, Stratkova. And now in 4th place, Vostenko of Ukraine. Now Emma Larsson, She'll be hoping to replicate the success of her teammate yesterday. With Lindqvist Flotten hitting the perfect 20 out of 20 and winning, but now Emma Larsson, the perfect start for her race, 5 out of 5. The coach is looking on approvingly to that kind of shooting, but still nevertheless may have feedback to send to the coaches around the track. Even with them all being hits, the cluster could still be to the right or left. Now, big moment for Hannah Volstad with 2 mistakes. The pressure getting to her. She needs his last shot, and she gets it. Now still in with a very good chance of a podium and perhaps still a victory today. We still haven't seen any French athletes come through, but Hannah Volstad is skiing very fast. And she's left the door open now for threats such as from Nicolucci, who's shooting very well, and Stratkova, who can contend. And now Sul going extremely well, missing the last shot, and that discomfort that I alluded to behind the rifle, I think, was a misobservation from my part, because that is excellent shooting. 8 out of 10 in prone, 5 out of 5 in stand, with only 5 more to go in stand. And Sul doing extremely well. Like I said, she's come off the back of numerous victories in Lake Placid, Soldier Hollow, and Jericho. 5 victories in a row, but with significantly more misses than she's demonstrated today. So shooting above her form. Kvostenko now from Ukraine. She's entered shoot number 3, 49 seconds down off the leader. And that's excellent shooting from the Ukrainian. 5 out of 5. She hasn't missed a single target in prone and only 1 in stand. Another contender out the back of shoot number 3, but in 4th place. This is heating up to be a very closely fought race, and with many big names from big nations still to come behind. Giovanna Nicolucci of Germany now, coming up to the 7.1 kilometer mark with no misses so far. 1 minute and 5 seconds down on Volstad. Martina Skog missing 2 already, and like we've seen, that isn't catastrophic for the performance if she can come back and reclaim some of those shots. But Skog is experienced, claiming the gold medal in the sprint in Östersund. Selina Ganner now does exactly what she needed to, finished as she started with the perfect 5 for 5. 4 mistakes sandwiched between those perfect shoots. But she's going to come out around about 145 back. And there it is, 143 in second place behind Volstad, who's missed 1 less target than Ganner. She's going well, and it isn't premature to say that she could be fighting for a medal. Hag Everby now with 14 out of 15. Not quite up there in terms of the ski speed, but the shooting is accurate. And now, as we can see, the snow conditions are beginning to crumble on certain parts of the course where the tips of the skis are, but harden in the center of the track, where the center of mass of the athletes compresses it. Hannah Volstad now on her last lap. She's giving everything, but as you can see, lots of traffic to contend with. 32 minutes and 29 seconds her time. Juliette Oliva of France already with 2 mistakes in prone and 2 more in stand. But Stratvica is skiing incredibly well. She is actually skiing faster than Volstad, but take a look at this. Could it be 20 out of 20? It certainly can. Giovanna Nicolucci of Germany in front of her home crowd, and she manages it once again, having done it before here in Arber. All the targets have gone down, and now she very much is fighting for a gold medal. Volstad is getting tired on the skis, and she has a 13.9 second advantage over the Norwegian. Nicolucci is going to have to dig very, very deep. What an achievement. To do it once is hard. To do it twice in a row here at this venue. As you can see, Volstad fighting to get past her other competitors, who really are occupying much of the track around her. Perhaps she knows that somebody has got the 20 out of 20 and that she will need to fight for every single second, for every single fraction of a second as she comes in towards the track. She's getting tired, she's getting boxed in by other athletes, and now she's the first to come in towards the line. 17 hits out of 20. Hannah Volstad, a super talent from Norwegian, comes in at 34 minutes, 21 seconds. A time that will be very hard to beat. But now, one of those who can absolutely do it, and do it by a significant margin if she gets these targets down, is Stratkova. The Slovakian. (19 out of 20). Excellent rhythm. And she manages it. 19 out of 20 in the bag. Stratkova now is fighting to depose Volstad of Norway. And it looks like she's going to be able to do it with a significant margin. Not just outclassing the Norwegian on the range, but also on the skis. Pacing it well, slower initially on lap 1 and 2, but then getting faster on lap 3 and lap 4. 54 seconds her advantage. And that also putting Nicolucci down into the silver medal position. But look at this. Could it be another 20 out of 20? Nora Fille-Holmberg of Denmark hasn't missed yet today and only has 5 more shots remaining. So far, so good. Only 1 shot to go. And it's 20 out of 20. What an achievement. What impeccable shooting from the Denmark biathlete. As we turn to Hanni Koski of Finland now, with 4 mistakes and 2 minutes 14 seconds back and counting as she peels to the right-hand side, marking the finish avenue. And by finish, I mean the finish line avenue for the Finn, who's struggling to maintain her balance now on these tough conditions. She's going to have the second fastest time as she comes across the finish line, but a time that many will beat. 2:39 back, second at this present moment. And now Victoria Kvostenko, fighting for 19 out of 20 and fighting for a medal. It's excellent shooting, and we have seen just the most remarkable display on the shooting range from these youth women today. Excellent shooting all round. And now Kvostenko who came into the range as Ganner crosses the line, 136 back with 4 mistakes. Kvostenko leaves the shooting range in 3rd place. And now the Ukrainian, only 1 minute and 2 seconds back, in ahead of the Norwegian by 6 seconds. But if we look at Volstad's ski speed relative to Kvostenko, it's dramatic, the difference between them. Volstad really is outclassing the Ukrainian on the skis. Now, Giovanna Nicolucci in behind Volstad's time by 3.3 seconds. And we already know that Volstad has dropped to 4th out of shoot number 2. So despite the perfect shooting from the German, it's going to be a hard fought battle to retain that podium spot. Ouvrier Buffet now of France with her first stand miss. That's 8 out of 10 in a time of 32.4 seconds. And now looking down the order at those who are showing potential, Ouvrier Buffet is one of those athletes. The 5th fastest ski speed on lap 1, the 7th on lap 2. And look at that, another 19 out of 20. This shooting is remarkable as Hag Eveby has managed to do the unthinkable, reclaiming or coming back from that early miss to hit the 15 after. Excellent performance. And Michaela Strakova of Slovakia with an amazing lead of 1 minute and 17 seconds out on the course at the 9.1k mark. Only 900 meters to go. But Giovanna Nicolucci now with 20 out of 20. She is not going to claim the winning time at this point in the race. Volstad finished now when all was accounted for, and Volstad has outskied by over 2 minutes 15 seconds the German. And on this last lap alone has managed to claim back a lot of time, but now Nicolucci coming across the line in 2nd with the perfect hits, 20 out of 20. But a time which may very well be beat. And such a shame for the German that so many other athletes out there are shooting incredibly well. Tierschmann now of Canada. Another two have not yet missed a target. A really deep breath followed by a long exhale onto the target. Pause and shoot. Tierschmann there conducting quality shooting. 9 out of 10. And Michaela Strakova of Slovakia now coming in towards the finish. She turns right. She has an absolutely enormous lead. And has she done enough? Well, she's got a very tough time to beat. And Michaela Strakova now of Slovakia. She comes into the home straight with an enormous lead, hitting 19 out of 20, crossing the line, 1 minute and 5 seconds in the lead. Could that be gold? Strakova drops to her knees in pain, really leaving it all out there on the track and marking the fastest ski time in total, 1 second faster than Volstad, but shooting slower than Volstad, where Volstad actually claimed quite a lot of time back on the Slovakian. But there is no doubt that you're looking at a super talent of the future from Slovakia. And one fact that really punctuated day one of this event was the fact that so many different nations and so many different flags were on the podium. 6 different nations on the podium yesterday. Latvia and Sweden taking the gold. But there is your intermediate results as Strakova of Slovakia is in first. Hanna Volstad of Norway is in second. And Giovanna Nicolucci is in third. Fostenko, at the end of shoot number 4, is in third position, in ahead of Volstad by 6 seconds, and has actually managed to continue that lead, but only by 1 second out on the track. So we will see the Ukrainian come in as we turn our attention to the second clean shooter of the day, Nora Flyvholm Berg of Denmark, coming in towards the finish line with what will be her outstanding result of her career. But she is no stranger to shooting clear. She did it here in Arber in the sprint on the IBU Cup, and now crosses the line in 5th place, 3:43 back. As now Fransk of Australia comes in. But let's now take a look. What has Fostenko done? She is battling it out against Volstad. It was very close, but so far it has not she's not maintained it. She's now in third. Volstad in second. So the duo really swapping on that final 900 meters. And Volstad, the one who managed to ski the fastest on that 900 meters by a whopping 14 seconds. 900 meters, claiming back 14 seconds. That's impressive. Katarina Stoller now for Germany on our screens, 8 out of 10. But that really does beg the question, what happened to Fostenko, who came out of shoot number 4 with a 6-second advantage over Volstad, and then came out in the finish line having lost 20 seconds on that final lap, 14 of which all came from the final 900 meters. Martina Skog now of Norway, the gold medalist in the sprint in Östersund last year, is way down the order, but has the possibility of coming back now as we see Lydia Hageveby coming in towards the finish line, but she's not going to get onto the podium. She's skiing too slow for that, but will fall outside of Nicolucci's time from Germany, but in ahead of Ganner of Austria, meaning she will take the 5th position. But shooting incredibly well today. Fifth place. Excellent there from Atsamova of Bulgaria, 18 out of 20. Another who's contending for a top 10 today and shooting extremely well. There's no doubt that the snow conditions are good today. And Franzi doing such a great job from Australia, as we see Rhea Atsamova coming out in 6th place. But the fact that Franzi of Australia has the 6th fastest time coming out of shoot number 1, just 35 seconds back, is an indication that the team has done well to prepare the skis. Emma Larsson now of Sweden, 14 out of 15, looking tired, as they all are out there on these tough tracks. But grateful, no doubt, that the sleet has stopped falling. Juliette Liva of France, missing too many to be a contender for a top spot. 2, 2, 1, 3. A tough day for Olivia of France. Alina Khmil of Ukraine in 7th position with 2 mistakes, 119 back, 119 at the finish line. would see her in the bronze medal position. Of course, we know that many of the athletes at this point lose a lot of time in the final 900 meters. Now, Primoze of Slovenia getting the first round down in 19 seconds. It's a miss. And there, 4 out of 5. But I must just correct my last statement about Kamil of Ukraine out of chute number 2. She was 1:11 back, and at the 5.1 kilometer mark, she was 1:19 back. So skiing very, very well, the Ukrainian, but she isn't on her last lap, as I indicated. She has another half of this race still to undergo, as Tierschmann of Canada now settles down on the mat, missing her first of her second prone visit. Tierschmann in 16th spot coming into the range, and she's likely to leave the range a little bit ahead of that, with a good number of those athletes going on in their third visit to the range to miss a significant number. But Larsson now with a great opportunity to do damage to the podium. Emma Larsson gets 19 out of 20, and she is the second Swede to have done so today. Excellent shooting. And now, what can she do as she comes out of the shooting range? We're going to take a close look at that time. We cut away too early, but I can tell you that Larsson is 1 minute 25 seconds back, in ahead of teammate Everby, who's 2:02 back. As we see Alina Kamil, who's skiing well for Ukraine. Missing another target. Really adding on those precious seconds to her time. Kamil now with 3 mistakes in total and still 1 more visit to the range. Still has a good time, but taking a look back at Larsson, who's now on her last lap, interestingly, she's about 20 seconds back on the first 3 laps. Then she's 37 seconds back on the 4th lap, so slowing, but perhaps she'll be fueled along by her incredibly accurate shooting for the final lap, where she'll be fighting for a top 10, and potentially fighting against Hag Everby for a top 5 spot at this present moment. But Luna Fornaris of Italy is now coming in, having hit 18 out of 20. Final 10 meters towards the line in a time back of 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Top 10 as it stands currently. But there's 117 starters today. Only 90 have come through the 1.1 kilometer mark, as Dominika Pratrasova of Slovakia comes in with 5 out of 5 in prone, but missing 1 so far in stand. It's another miss. Gets the last, 8 out of 10. Quick shooting though, 26.2 seconds. Athletes typically opting to shoot slower in the individual competition. The reason being that they want to focus more on those precious targets, as the consequences are so high. But now Martina Skog of Norway, shooting fast, shooting accurate. Oh, 16 out of 20 on the day. 80% hit rate. And the last psychological shot not going down for Skog, despite the fact that she is a gold medalist last year. And perhaps we will see that again, but the form on the skis is a little off the pace. Adzimova now of Bulgaria, coming in towards the line with a time back of 3:15, slotting into 7th spot, in ahead of Berg, who had the perfect 20 out of 20. And now, in terms of names at the halfway point who could contend, there are not many. Pikkonen now getting 9 out of 10. She entered the shooting range in 18th place, 1 minute 42 seconds back. Ouvrier Buffet now of France, skiing well. Top 10 ski speed on this event so far. And if she hits these, it could be a flower ceremony. And she does, 18 out of 20. So now, needing to get off that mat with some urgency and around that track with even more urgency as she fights for a top 10, potentially top 6. And I'll let you know as she comes out of the range where she stands. But Larsson, she's in 5th place, in ahead of her teammate by some 25 seconds. 30 seconds behind Nicolucci of Germany. She will not be contending for that spot, but Giordano of Italy now with 7 out of 10, another 10 shots to go. If she repeats that, it will be 70% hit rate, 14 out of 20. But now, to remind you of Adèle Ouvrier-Buffet of France, coming out of shoot number 4, is in 7th place, 2:32 back. But here's shoot number 2. Hannah Volstad still has the top time, and Nicolucci in 2nd. And that order has really shuffled by the time they got to the finish, as Stratkova of Slovakia has taken the win. And Volstad went on to miss 2 more. But Larsson in 3rd place coming in to shoot 2, 6th place coming out. Pelan now of Slovenia. Excellent shooting. Approximately 3 seconds between shots, amounting to 38 seconds in total. But now, Emma Larsson, she had about a 25-second lead ahead of her teammate, Hag Everby. And is now coming in towards the home straight, fighting to get into that flower ceremony. Where's it going to be? She's fighting for 5th. And she gets it, 1:52 seconds back. Slotting firmly in ahead of her teammate. Also shooting 19 out of 20. Similarly matched on the skis. Ouvrier-Buffet, the other Ouvrier-Buffet of France, and I should be careful to make sure I'm giving you the right one, is currently on 8 out of 10. Well, there it is, 10 out of 10, and now Ouvrier-Buffet, or Romana Ouvrier-Buffet, is a contender for a podium. She's going to find herself comfortably up at the top of the order, coming out of shoot number 2. And she slots into 4th. Now, taking a look ahead of her, there is Stratkova, who retains her position at the top spot as Camille comes out with 16 out of 20, only missing 1 on each visit. Nicolucci drops out of the podium spot, and Volstad drops to 2nd. So this is a really good opportunity for Ouvrier-Buffet, who can do damage to the podium at this late stage in the race. wearing bib number 82 and skiing in the top 20. Her sister skiing faster than her today. And that's 9 out of 10 for Lidström of Sweden. And now, Adèle Ouvrier-Buffet of France comes just outside of the top 7 Ganner's time by 9 seconds, as Martina Skog, former gold medalist, or she is a gold medalist in the sprint last year, now coming across the line, 3:50 seconds back in 11th spot. Her ski form really is off relative to the standards she's capable of, and we can expect to see stronger performances from the Norwegian. Stoller now of Germany, an opportunity to get the last 5. She's taking her time. 5.6 seconds between shot 1 and 2. 2.6 seconds at this level appears to be somewhat common, but this really is a lot of rest she's taking, focusing on being recovered for each shot. Now, a very good strategy. She gets 19 out of 20. Adèle Ouvrier-Buffet, 18 out of 20. And with Ganner just 7 seconds in ahead of her, she can depose the Austrian if she has fought hard over this last 900 meters. And now she comes into the final stretch. Ganner's time is 2 minutes and 44 seconds. She is not going to beat that time. And there it is, 2:58. 8th spot. And now she is contending with her sister, Ouvrier-Buffet, who's in 4th spot after shoot number 2 at the halfway point in this race. Now, Eli Pikkonen of Finland, 9 out of 10 so far, and at this present moment, 2:43 seconds back. So not a contender for the top 10, but we did miss a contender for the top 10 on the range with Grasli of Norway. As Pikkonen hits 14 out of 15, it's great shooting from the Finn. But Grasli of Norway, 25 seconds down after shoot number 1. She got 5 out of 5. As Romana Ouvrier-Buffet now with an opportunity again to hit 20 out of 20. She needs that if she wants to podium today. It is not going to be an easy fought medal for her if she gets a medal at all. And that pressure mounts with every pole plant and with every time they come into the range, having not missed yet a single target. And now Camille, 10th position, 4 mistakes on the day, 1 coming from each visit to the range, so at least she's consistent, and 80% is nothing to scoff at. Now, Spela Bergant of Slovenia. She takes an extra breath, trying to find traction with her right elbow. The win flags are still. The first round goes down in a conservative time of 25 seconds. And now Spela Bergant of Slovenia, with those 2 mistakes to her name, will pay a price of 1 minute 30 seconds. Alina Kmil now of Ukraine, one of the fastest shooters of the day. She had the second fastest time in shoot 1, third in shoot 2, fifth in shoot 3, and fourth in shoot 4. 25 seconds to get 4 out of 5 targets down on the final visit to the shooting range. Only 23 seconds on her second shoot, which was stand. She is a quick shooter. And now, with just 40 or so meters to go, this home straight, she comes across the line with an impressive time of 3 minutes and 30 seconds back. Kamil now the second Ukrainian inside the top 10 at this point. And now, Romana Ouvrier-Buffet, her twin sister, also racing here today. But she has not yet missed. Can she do it? 14 out of 15. Oh, it's not going to be 15 out of 15. That last target did not go down. And now Romana Ouvrier-Buffet of France will be pained by that last miss, adding that 45 seconds to her overall tally. And she's 2 minutes and 10 seconds back, 7th position. Now outside of shoot number 3, in ahead of her twin sister by just 4 seconds, 4.2 seconds. And now Skistadion of Ukraine. Similarly to Kamil, missing 1 on each visit to the range so far, and matching that same trend. She looks up. Is the wind different? What's going on? These feel like hits. And that's the look of somebody who doesn't know why the targets aren't going down. She glances again. What is causing these bullets to fall shy of the center ring? She opts to shoot on the second target, so rather than moving on with each fallen shot. Katarina Stoller on the back of your picture there, now on the right, charging over this final hill and actually crests this final hill. She'll take a right in towards the finish line. 3 mistakes on the day, outside of 4 minutes back already, and the clock's still ticking. She's going to fall into 14th or 15th spot, in ahead of Spitalar. And now on the home straight, Stoller coming across the line. 4 minutes, 41 seconds back, 15th place for the German on home snow. Now at the 5.1 kilometer mark, we still have not seen her on our picture. There is a Norwegian who has not yet missed. That is Grasli. But she's 1 minute, 33 seconds back. And proving to be 2 off the pace on the skis to contend for a podium today, even if she gets the targets all down. But nevertheless, we'll hopefully catch her. She comes in to her 3rd visit to the range. Sara Chervinkova of Czechia now coming in without having missed a single target, but once again slower on the skis. She's in 9th place at the 5.1 kilometer mark. And these targets are going down smooth like a hot knife through butter. That is 15 out of 15 now. It's 100% hit rate so far for Sarah Chervinkova. An excellent performance from her, not from the commentator saying her name. Chervinkova, clean shooting so far and with a chance to get the perfect 20 out of 20. Giannina Pilar now of Switzerland. That is 16 out of 20. She starts with 2 and it got better and better there on out until she finished with the perfect 5 for 5. A great way to finish her race, and she's really attacking on the skis. A fighter, clearly aggressive technique. And it's so great to see that aggression. Now as we take a look at the standings coming out of chute number 4. Strakova of Slovakia still in the lead with Nicolucci in second place. But oh how so much has changed by the time they got to the finish. Strakova still retaining that top spot with a dramatic lead of over a minute. But Nicolucci in 4th, having fallen back, and Kvostenko in 3rd position. And now Romana Ouvrier-Buffet of France, the best she can hope for in the shooting will be 19 out of 20. She's had 1 miss so far. She's 243 back. And she's fallen down into 9th. As Giordano misses the last shot. A great rhythm up until that point. And Grassley has now hit 15 out of 15. It happened off screen. Forgive my silence as Giordano there was coming through. But Grassley of Norway in 6th place, happening off screen. But I'll keep you up to date with her progress. She has not yet missed a single target today. She came in 9th, she hit all the targets, and she has been promoted to 6th as a result of that effort. Bizon of Poland, quite the opposite, with 4 mistakes. That will see a dramatic 3 minutes added onto her tally. Now what can Grassley of Norway do? Well, if she gets all the targets down, she could be a contender for a top 6, but she'll struggle to beat Nicolucci of Germany, who is already at this point over a minute ahead in terms of ski speed. And we know that Nicolucci fell off the podium by just 4 seconds. Now Kristina Ruda of Ukraine, 9 out of 10, a good start. Bib 109 of 117. And there's another disappointing shoot. You can see it on Sula Skaite. Her face says it all, an expression of pain. We should be thankful, at least to some degree, that she doesn't have to do those 4 penalty loops. It's a mere time penalty. But now, Romana Ouvrier-Buffet of France. An effort to get 19 out of 20. She rebreathes. Regains composure. And she gets it, 19 out of 20. Exceptional performance from Ouvrier-Buffet of France. An impressive shoot. And she came into shoot number 4, 3 minutes back off the lead. with that absolutely fantastic shooting, comes out in 8th place, just 17 seconds off her sister, who is out skiing her today on this occasion. With one extra miss to her tally. Balan now of Italy. She has 9 out of 10, missing just one target in the stand shoot. She's off the pace. And will come out around about 3 minutes and 25 seconds back. And that's 3:21 in 56th place in total. And now Harstad of Norway with her first miss. The Norwegians hesitant to send athletes younger than 17 to events like these in efforts to keep them in Norway, keep them training, keep them on a stable, minimal travel regime for racing, and slowly introduce them to the scene of international competition. A strategy clearly that works well for them, as Malikova crosses the line 5:57 back with an impressive 18 out of 20. And now on your screen we can see Pikkanen, 19 hits out of 20, excellent shooting from her. And we also can see for the first time, even though we haven't got the graphic up there, that was Grassley coming through the 7.1 kilometer mark. She was 2 minutes and 28 back. Remember, she still has not yet missed today. As we see Pillar fighting over the line, an impressive effort on that last lap, a really impressive attacking spirit on the skis. And we undoubtedly are going to get a chance to see Grassley of Norway come in for her final shoot. But Červínkova of Czechia now, another who has yet to miss a single target. She came in to the range in 9th place. Can she get 20 out of 20? Oh, she cannot. The last target stood strong. It did not go down. And you could see the frustration written across Červínkova's face. As now, she will be fighting over that last lap, knowing that 45 seconds cannot be redeemed on the skis as she falls into 13th position. Pikkanen now of Finland. She is in, she's wearing bib number 73. Another one to hit. 19 out of 20. The amount of times I've said that today. And so many of the top 10 clearing all the targets on their last visit to the range, meaning that if somebody doesn't come in, well, it's Grassley now of Norway has come in. She's just arrived in the shooting range and is in 9th position. Pikkanen now of Finland coming towards the finish in an impressive time, putting her 17th place behind the leader, 5:31 back. But now Grassley is on the mat, and for the first time on camera, center focus, with an opportunity to get 20 out of 20. Can she do it? No, she cannot. Another to fall short just by virtue of that last shot, holding strong. The voices in the biathlete's head that just make that last shot so challenging. And Grassley is slow on the skis today. Perhaps her form not quite in tip-top shape. But 19 out of 20 is impressive. And Hinterstoiser of Germany is another who can get that impressive 95% hit rate today. And she does. A little pause of 4.4 seconds to get the final shot down, but down it goes. A great effort to hold steady on the final time of asking. She'll come back or come out of the range some 4 minutes and 28 seconds or so down. 4:30. And biathletes really do have to contend with so many thoughts that can be more impactful than wind to their shooting. The craziness that a thought can be so distracting. Michaela Strakova still in the lead, and Nika Lucy still in second place, coming out of shoot number 4. Results that have gone on to change, but most pertinently there is Grassley falling outside the top 10. As now Romana Ouvrier-Buffet of France is coming in towards the finish line with her 95% hit rate in the belt. And she's fallen outside of the top 10, losing time on the tracks. And she has Berg of Denmark right behind her, 5 seconds her disadvantage. But Romana Ouvrier-Buffet is going to get in ahead of Berg of Denmark. 11th place for the French lady. And now Germany's Geishauer comes across the line, 5 minutes 54 seconds back in 22nd spot. And for those of you wondering who is still a threat further back down the field, well, there's not many yet to come through. Shoot number 3 has seen 105 athletes come through, as Sarah Červínkova of Czechia has got 0, 0, 0, and then hit, 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 miss the final shot. The one where the thoughts go through your mind, oh, this is going well, or if I get this target down, then anything that is a hypothetical thought, if, should, would, could, is poisonous to the mind of a biathlete and the physiology of a biathlete. The process of coming onto the target with good discipline is all that matters. The focus on a single aspect of performance, as Matas of Estonia will attempt to concentrate all of her energy on her trigger pressure, or breathing, or sight picture. 4 mistakes, a painful shoot, but hopefully a positive learning experience for the Estonian, as every single result should be for every single one of these athletes in this category. It's all about learning. And now Horstad of Norway now coming in with 14 out of 15. She's down off the pace on the skis, but she's shooting impeccably. And Stina Horstad now fighting with Kokmankova of Czechia. And we're not going to see that time as she comes out of the shoot, but I can update you. She did get in ahead of Kokmankova of Czechia, but only by 0.4 seconds. So Grassley now back in our screens and currently in 15th position, in behind Skog of Norway, her teammate, who's had 3 extra misses, so 2 minutes and 15 seconds added onto her time. But now Červínkova comes across the line in 15th place. 4 minutes and 21 seconds back. Her fists go into the snow, her face to follow as fatigue takes over the body. I must remind the viewers that this course is absolutely brutal. It goes down for a little bit outside of the range, but then it's climb, 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 climb. The athletes can count themselves lucky not to take a left out and around the back of the range where it is really steep, but these athletes have a lot of learning to accrue and to take away from these races. They have to think about their line. Where is the fastest, what is the fastest line relative to the snow conditions? Of course, if the snow conditions are deep and slushy, then the likes of Eline Grasli of Norway would be picking her line sensibly so as to avoid deep slushy snow, but it appears that the fastest line, the race line, is optimal today as Grasli now is fighting hard. She's losing time with every meter relative to the leader. She's now outside of 4 minutes back at the 9.1K. 50 meters to go. Can she get in ahead of Červenkova of Czechia, who finished 4 minutes and 16 or 4:21 back? She absolutely can. 4 minutes and 4 seconds. An impressive last 900 meters. And I can absolutely say with certainty now that the Slovakian Strakova has won the gold medal, as Kokmankova now is one of the last who is able to cause an upset to the top 20. But that's going to be a real challenge with that miss. 17 out of 20 is impressive. She'll be pleased with it. But more impressive than that is Hinterstoiser's 19. She takes the middle avenue, just going past Charlotte Mincher of Great Britain, and crosses the line 5-3-3 back. And at the finish line, for those of you from the United States or from Canada or Great Britain, the best performance of the day so far is from Konska of Canada in 31st. But the intermediate results show that Strakova is in the lead. Volstad is in second place currently and likely to be with a silver medal around her neck. And Kvostenko of Ukraine is going to be in third. And what does that mean for the medals? Well, we've already seen 6 nations win medals at this event. And I've been Scott Dixon walking you through the results as they've unfolded. And Latvia is at the top of the medal table alongside Sweden, with their gold medals won yesterday by Philip Lindqvist Flotten in the junior men's 15-kilometer individual, and Riards Losbergs of Latvia getting the gold in the 12.5-kilometer youth men's individual. So what does this mean for the table? Well, now Slovakia is another nation to add on to the overall leaderboard as Popova now comes in. First shot down, 23.9 seconds. Norway will make it on to the medal table. That means 8 nations on the medal table as Lithuania's Popova manages to get 5 out of 5. A good turnaround for her in a time of 44.4 seconds. And Ukraine, the first nation to double up on medals. They will have 2, 1 silver and 1 bronze And Christina Ruda, another athlete with a possibility of a 95% hit rate. She has to contend with those poisonous thoughts. And she manages. Excellent discipline. Great composure. And now Ruda is going to come out in under 5 minutes behind the leader. Just has one more lap of only 2 kilometers to contend with. Stella Åberg of Finland now out on the tracks with 6:23 back, down in 55th spot. And it might not surprise you to know that the fastest ski speed has still come from Strakova of Slovakia, Volstad in second, 1 second behind, and Ganner of Austria, 48.4 seconds back. And Bison there missing her last shot and third. Notable absentees from the medal table. Germany still without a single win. And let's see if Stina Horstad is able to get these targets down. She's done a great job so far with 14 out of 15. .4 seconds, 3.3 seconds. It's consistent, it's getting faster though. And she takes an extra breath. The last shot, 1.7 seconds slower than the previous. And she makes it 18 out of 20. The Kokmankova now of Czechia in 23rd position. Czechia still not on the overall medal table. Austria still not on the medal table. And Keita Kolna from a team that is on the medal table and at the top, Latvia, with Riard Losbergs, a super talent from Latvia. One to watch out for in the future. And hopefully they're sensible about his progression over the years while he builds up rather than burns out, following in Andrei Rasuguyev's footsteps, causing an upset on the World Cup. And now Kolna coming across the line in 66th position. And for those of you who are here to stay for this event, I will tell you that upcoming we have the junior women's 12.5 kilometer individual as Åberg of Finland misses her first shot, misses her third, and is fighting to get the last, which she manages to do. And now, as for the Brits, as Kokmankova comes over the final hill, takes a right in towards the finish. Seoul of USA is in 27th place. Berger of Great Britain is in 52nd. Cadell is in 53rd. Oh, in terms of course time, I apologize. I'm looking at the wrong screen. As Kokmankova now coming towards the line, fighting to get in under 5:40, but just outside. 24th place, top 30, and right in behind her teammate, Petrosova, by just 0.3 seconds. That'll be an interesting chat over dinner. Mathilda Dodos of France, with 5 penalties today, each one amounting to 45 seconds. So that time behind of 6:37 that you see on the right, that red graphic, is an indicator of not just their ski speed and their shooting speed, but also the amount of penalty time they've had added on as a result of those misses. As well as the junior women's 12.5K individual this afternoon. We have also tomorrow the mixed relays for the youth and the junior. That starts at 11 a.m. Central European time, and then 2:45 p.m. The days after, we've got the sprints, and that's with the men. The day after that, we have the women's sprints, and then the mass start 60. So not like the pursuits we see on World Cup. The athletes get a day's rest, 2 days rest, in fact, for the junior men. The women just one, and then they will race the the mass start 60. They stand or line up in order of their finish position, and rather than having the lead time, that's Rajevec there from Serbia, doing well to come in towards the finish. And rather than the pursuit where the leader's time from the previous day's sprint is the time advantage they start with the next day, the script is turned upside down, and although they start at the front, the leader from the sprint, they do not have the time advantage that they have. They simply just start at the front. 60 athletes starting. It makes for a bit of a ruckus on the range, and they have a strategy to combat that. You'll have to come and watch if you want to know what that strategy is, because we're going to get back to this race right now, where we're going to take a look at the fastest skiers out on the track. Well, only 3 skiers in within 1 minute of the fastest Strakova's time. Stine Horstad of Norway, 5:38 back with 900 meters still to go. And the Norwegians proving to have quite quick skis, as now this is the top, we're near the top of the course. Downhill all the way back in until this crest that you see before the finish. I call it a crest. It is quite the hill. Christina Ruda, a great performance. With 19 hits. 5 minutes and 58 seconds back. Ruda is just inside the top 30, 29th. And now Eva Hai with 0.221. 5 in total. Hai, 18 years of age. She competed in the 24-25 season in a regional event in Bosman and has not raced a regional event since. Now, we have Palachois Sagasti of Spain shooting incredibly well in prone, but less so in stand, with 5 mistakes in her first visit and 2 in the next. But now Stine Horstad of Norway. She missed the very last shot, and she'll be kicking herself for that, but hopefully not too hard, so that she can come away with the lessons learned on how to combat that challenge of getting the last target down. She crosses 5:42 back, 25th. Maria Bizon of Poland now coming in after a good start. She really struggled in the second visit to the range and the stand, where she missed 5. So in terms of identifying ski speed, well, we have an opportunity now to see Elif Sankar of Great Britain the talented young athlete who came up through the talent identification campaign some years ago now. Starts out with a hit. 3.4 seconds between shot 1 and 2. 4.1, now 3.4. And then 3. Excellent shooting. That is fantastic from an athlete who has absolutely no access in Great Britain to a shooting range. These biathletes rely on the tiny bit of time that they have out on training camps to learn how to shoot, and to hit 80% at this junior or youth world championships for her is absolutely extraordinary. And kudos to Elif Sankar, who managed to do that with such great composure. 96th as she comes out of shoot number 4, as we see the Finn Åberg coming in towards the finish. Sankar 15 minutes back. 59th with 6 misses and 9 minutes 8 seconds back. Now Valeria Benderer of Switzerland, another impressive shooter on the day. 18 out of 20. And 9 minutes 12 seconds back. Now the fastest French athlete of the day was Oliva of France, 49 seconds back, just behind Ganner of Austria. Now I don't think it's a coincidence that 3 of the top 6 fastest skiers all started in the top 10, and 5 out of the top 6 all started in the top 20. I think that the conditions have got slower, as would be predicted. But Mincheva of Bulgaria now really working hard. That's a lovely technique, a lovely frequency, a lovely use of the body weight. She isn't collapsing at the hips. She is utilizing her core, driving her body weight down through her poles, and then contracting the core at the final stage of that drop to enhance the amount of energy that her lats are able to produce and generate from dragging back as opposed to pushing down with her triceps. Excellent technique, lovely weight transfer onto her left side or right side. Her knee almost coming in a little bit like Arndt Pfeiffer or other athletes like Johannes Tingesbo even had a bit of a funky right knee, as did I when I skied.
Hier am Agersee wirklich alles getan haben, was man tun kann, um gut die Zustände zu schaffen. Faire, gleichmäßige Umstände. Natürlich wechselt das auch ein bisschen im Laufe so eines Wettbewerbs, der sich ja doch über eine lange Zeit hinzieht.
Lots of supporters, parents, fans of biathlon coming to watch the events as they unfold. You can say for sure that the stands are going to be absolutely full, particularly on the 6th of March, where we have 4 of the favorite races all on one day. The mass start 60. And a reminder that our winner today is Michaela Strakova, who raced at the European Championships in the individual. She got a bronze medal where she skied very quickly once again, but finished with only 2 mistakes at the end of that race, bettering that with just 1 mistake today. And then Strakova went on finished 7th at the European Championships in the single mixed relay. Now, Palacio Sagasti of Spain she comes towards the 9.1 kilometer mark. Excellent timing, poles coming down just as her left leg contacts the snow, and recovering the hands back to the front point as her right leg comes down. And you can see that although the timing is really good, she's gripping onto the poles quite firmly, whereas you can afford to be quite loose with your grip in the pole handles in skate 1, V1, offset, paddling, pick your terminology. And that just allows you more movement with your upper body, and therefore more drive down through the poles. It's all about weight to utilize the upper body, getting the weight into a forward position so as to maximally utilize, as Popova now of Lithuania doing a great job, 17 minutes 31 seconds back with 6 mistakes. She's got her hand very close to her head, so doing a good job there to really get the weight down through that pole. And she's just 3 seconds and a minute, 1 minute 3 seconds in ahead of Mincher of Great Britain. But now Elif Sankar of Great Britain, super talented, a hard worker, and an amazing ability to listen and follow instructions from coaches on the shooting range, trying out different strategies and methodologies, which today has come to fruition with an excellent 80% hit rate. Now, Palacio Sagasti of Spain, again, 100% hit rate in prone. What a performance there, and she'll be proud of that, rightly so. And she will identify undoubtedly that stand shooting is an area that can be improved. Only 3 hits out of 10 on the day in stand. And the question then becomes, how do you address those deficiencies, and over what period of time? The goal should never be to try and hit 10 in the next race. It's how can you make incremental steps to gradually improve. If you have too many things to work on, it just makes the challenge so hard of focusing on one aspect. And a great sprint finish there from Palacio Sagasti of Spain. 7 mistakes on the day, 19 minutes and 51 seconds down. And another sprint finish opportunity now. You can see the rotation of the body as Popova is really starting to find, is continuing to find, but increasingly so as she comes towards the finish. This last lap very hard. Mila Popova, wearing bib number 115, is the second last starter of the day. And here's the sprint finish. She's working hard. She's trying to avoid that dirty snow on the left-hand side of the track. She comes across the line, just over 18 minutes back. And now Elif Sankar in towards the sprint finish, throwing the poles back. Could benefit from straightening the arms just a little bit more. As I can't resist to comment, her former coach is but will she ski on that darkened snow on the right of our screen where the moisture is settling right through it, but aggressively so. She's attacking and she is exhausted. Excellent effort from Sankar. 18:07. A great performance and a strong finish from the Brit, finishing inside the top 100, 98th position. And Sankar Skiing well. .14.31 back. So do stay with us while we take a look at the flower ceremony, which will be just around the corner. And definitely join us this afternoon at 10 minutes past 2 for the junior women's 12.5 kilometer individual. I hope you've enjoyed the race as much as I have. And I have been Scott Dixon, with the pleasure of being able to talk you through the results as they unfold. Well, another good day for Ukraine, with Victoria Kvostenko managing to get the bronze medal here at the Youth Junior World Championships. She did it in style. Only one miss on the day. It came from her second visit to the range and stand. But crossed the line 6 seconds ahead of Nika Lucy of Germany. Hannah Volstad of Norway claiming the silver, and she did it through formidable force on the skis, a super talent from Norway who has won 3 out of the 4 Norwegian Cup races this season, finishing 5th and last, but that was with 6 mistakes in the sprint. So she can ski quick, as evidenced today, missing 3 and still claiming the silver medal. But skiing quicker and shooting better today was your gold medalist, Michaela Strakova of Slovakia. She only missed 1, and that came from her visit to the range, the first visit to the range, and thereafter went on to hit the remaining 15 targets. Strakova charging towards the line with the fastest skiing on the day by a second ahead of Volstad, the super talent from Norway. And therefore, I think it's very fair to say that we have a super talent from Slovakia who will soon receive her medal. She got the bronze in Imatra in Finland for the Open Junior European Championships in the individual with 2 mistakes. And she bettered it by 1 today. And in Imatra, she was beaten by her teammate. But you also must consider that she's racing as a youth today, whereas she was racing as a junior. So racing up a standard. And still managing to get the bronze.
Michaela, congratulations, fantastic performance today. Not easy conditions, but can you tell us about your race and how happy you are with the gold medal today?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm very happy. I didn't expect it at all, and it was tough, and the snow is really slushy, and it's raining all the time. So I tried to do my best, and I'm very happy with this result. And I tried to do my best at the shooting range. I missed 1 target, so that's nice. Thank you.
Very well done. Congratulations.
Well, we can see that from the rain falling on our screen now, that it is slushy conditions. Yesterday it was hot, and the conditions were even more slushy. But that added moisture today on the track means that the suction under the skis is one of the biggest concerns. And by suction, if you imagine putting 2 wet sheets of glass together, then that moisture creates suction, and trying to pull them apart then becomes incredibly difficult. The idea behind the grooves in the ski and the grind on the ski and the structure in the ski is that they all contribute towards allowing the movement of those water particles through the ski and out, otherwise allowing or preventing there from being any suction. Sometimes it is impossible to avoid when it's just pure water, so minimizing suction is then the next best strategy. We have until the 8th for the organizers of this race to preserve the snow, and therefore the snow doesn't get salted. Salt, of course, being a technique that is used to harden the snow, making it fairer for the entire field. Of course, teams deciding or being quite strategic about what order they're going to start in, what group they're going to be placed in, so that they have a greater chance of skiing at the best conditions. So, the medal ceremony begins. Victoria Kvostenko managing to stand atop the podium in bronze medal position with 19 hits out of 20. 1 minute 19 seconds behind the leader. Doing her country proud. And performing to such a standard, despite all the tribulations these athletes face trying to conduct training. Hanna Volstad of Norway, your silver medalist. She wasn't able to compete here or in Östersund at the World Championships last year on account of the fact that she was too young. The Norwegians not allowing 16-year-olds to compete at these events in the interest of bettering their and now Michaela Strakova of Slovakia. Winning the gold medal, skiing the fastest, shooting among the best. Biathletes shooting 10 out of 10 today, but only 3 shooting better. Mikulussi of Germany getting all the targets, and then 2 from Sweden, Larsson and Hageveby. Good day for Sweden, and Germany so close, but no, not close enough. Massive moment for these youngsters. The wax technicians whizzing by there as they test the skis in preparation for the junior women's individual. A rightful applause for your champion today, and those who were close by. Thank you for staying with us for this event, and I look forward to talking you through the results as they unfold for the junior women's 12.5 kilometre individual this afternoon, starting at 2:10 Central European time. Do join us for that, and until then, goodbye.
Attention.